you know. Yeah, you know, what can I say? These guests, they never fail to, I don't know if impress is the word, but let's get straight into it. If you have any questions, now's the time. We're going to be about 10 minutes. Throw your questions in real quick. She's joining now. Is she coming in? Let's talk. Yeah. Lovely. We're back.
Hello.
All right, Chris. So I want you to, however you feel, but speak to, firstly, people who are victims. And I want you to show them the way out. And
Very personal that.
it is.
Yeah.
It is, and it will be inspiring. But also, I want you to speak to us as professionals
Mm-hmm.
and how we're going to view, manage, support allegations and disclosures.
You might have to ask me that one again, all right?
Don't
Because my
worry.
brain's going to go all over the place.
Fine. Speak to us.
Um,
Speak to the victims.
yeah. So first of all, know what abuse is and what it isn't. Acknowledge what you've gone through is potentially abuse. Understand the impact that may be having on your everyday life, your mental health, your physical health, your emotional health. How do you show up in your own life? How do you function in relationships, whether it be another other half or friends or working relationships? Do you feel joy in life, or is life literally getting through treacle? So you've got to understand that if you're suffering from symptoms that are negatively impacting your health, what is causing that? Now, when I teach my 8-week course, that's where I start with my individuals that have gone through abuse, because they often want to minimize what they've gone through, because when they hear about someone else's experiences, they are so horrendous that they then minimize what they've gone through themselves.
Yeah.
But someone could have gone through multiple assaults, rapes, for example, and someone might have gone through one incident of abuse, yet it has a different impact on both of them, and it could have more of a catastrophizing impact on the one that hasn't gone through as much abuse. So we can't compare abuses. There's no hierarchy of abuse. So if I'm talking to victim and survivors out there, it's, have you been through abuse? Acknowledge it, notice the impact, and then what is it you need? What can you give to yourself? And then what else do you need from outside? So what other help and support do you need? How is the impact showing up in your life? So for me, for many years, it was overworking, no joy in life, perfectionism, bulimia, over exercising, and all of that. Yeah. And then it was trying to be the perfect mum, perfect housekeeper, perfect boss, and all of that. And that didn't work. I had that breakdown. And then it was actually understanding that the symptoms that I was living with, only I could change that. But how was I going to change that? And it wasn't an easy journey. It was a learning journey, and still ongoing learning journey. I'd like to think that one day I'll be fully healed, but I know for a fact that is just never going to happen. There's always going to be impact. However, I am living my life to the full because I'm choosing to do this work. If I really wanted to be 100% healed, I would go away from this work, leave it all behind, and go, you know what, I've done my bit. But I choose to be here because I know I can have these authentic conversations that will help inform and give insight and change things for other people. And that in itself is my reward. Does that make sense? Yeah. So how do other people get to where I am? They don't. We're all on our own individual journey, but what they can do is reach out to the GP first, because they're the gateway to all other services. And don't really look, you can try the talking therapies, you can try cat therapy, you can try CBT, but often if you've gone through a traumatic experience because of abuse, especially sexual abuse, sexual violence, you need trauma therapy, so it's specialist therapy. So if you know that's what you need, then that is what you go and ask for. You're going to be put on a waiting list, you're going to be told about everything else, but trauma therapy is what you need to start working your way through all of this stuff, in order for you to live to your full potential. And as I said, I started therapy when I was in my early 20s, and I was still having it up until I was 52. So I would dip in and out, Curtis. I wasn't in it all the time. Some people are. Some
Yeah.
people just can't function. Yeah.
Yeah.
No judgment, but they just can't function. It has such an impact on their life, they just can't function. But others, like myself, we are able to, and we dip in and out as and when we feel we need it, because we have to. They're, like you, social workers, and police officers and all the different people have supervision where you can speak to someone about what's going on. We haven't had that, but we also need that. We need to be validated, we need to be told we're normal, we need to be told that the experience we've gone through are abnormal, and what we are experiencing is normal because of the abnormal experiences we've experienced. Does that make sense?
Perfect sense.
So how do they get out of it? Just know yourself that things aren't right, and you have power and control over yourself as an adult, and you can go and reach out and get that help. It might take time, you might need to work around it, but it is out there to access if you are really wanting it. There's peer-to-peer support groups that you can access. There's loads now out there, and you can try different things. But everyone I know that's gone through a kind of recovery program, it is trauma therapy at some stage. Everyone gets to that point because it's just specialist therapy, that you don't get from other therapies.
Is there a particular therapy that you recommend?
No, it's going to be different for everybody. It really is. It's their own personal journey. But that deep-seated anger that I had, only EMDR sorted it out. EMDR. Eye desensitization movement therapy. Yeah, that's trauma therapy. And the thing is, I always say as well that asking for help and support is a strength, not a weakness. And if anyone ever says, oh, she's been in therapy, that means she's mentally, weak, I'm like, on your bike, do you know the job I do? Do you know what I do every day? Do you know what I get up and do for you and your kids and the future generation? I ain't weak, I'm strong, okay? And anybody in this area that's trying to improve themselves and help other people, you're barking up the wrong tree. I'm in therapy because I need it to get me through because of the work that I do, full stop. But I'm not in therapy at the moment anyway. But if I needed it, I wouldn't hesitate to go back if I needed it.
Okay. And my last question,
Mm-hmm.
which answers not bad. No, who was it? Oh, okay. I think we're going to answer it with this question. You can critique, you can speak to, you can offer tips and advice to social workers. We came here to learn.
Yeah.
That's the point of the platform. What would you like to say to social workers and frontline workers?
Don't have the wool pulled over your eyes. Be professionally curious, so keep asking those questions. Listen to what is being said and watch for the non-verbal cues, right? So I couldn't look an adult in the eyes as a child and young person. I just couldn't, because my stepmom used to stand in front of us, demand that we look her in the eyes, and when we did, she'd hit us and say, "Who are you looking at?" Okay, so take that on board for a minute. So when then an adult, a teacher, look at me, pay attention. I ain't looking at you. I'm not paying attention, because you're going to hit me, aren't you? Yeah. And it only came to me when I was an adult. I was working at the psychiatric hospital as the business manager. So I had a senior management position, and the hotel director, hospital director, looked at me and she said, "Chris, look at me for a minute." And I looked at her and she goes, "You don't like looking people in the eye, do you?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "But you never hold eye contact." And she said, "And that shows, eye contact shows that you're assertive, shows that you're listening, shows that you're respectful," right? I left that room and she goes, "Is anything bothering you? Is anything ever happened?" Again, another insightful person. And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" And she goes, and she's noticed a few other things. And she said, abuse, and burst into tears. And I went, and I then went back in my memory as to what may have caused it. And it is that what my stepmom did that caused me not to be able to look people in the eye, to feel worthy, and not expect to be abused. So all of this time in my professional life, when I couldn't look people in the eye, I was being cast as disrespectful. And even crossing your arms, you're told you're not allowed to cross your arms because that shows that, you know, you're antagonistic or whatever. For me, that is protection. Okay. So even as a kid, I would stand there, hug, protect myself, and look down. So look out for the non-verbal cues. So I couldn't talk to a social worker. I was told I wasn't able to. I wasn't allowed to. Yeah. So what is going on? What are you being told that you're not picking up on? I've got lots of little stories like this, Curtis, that I could share, but they don't often come to me until we get there, if you know what I mean.
Well, we've got more opportunities coming up. Could you tell us about those books behind you?
Yeah. So Through the Eyes of a Child, that pink one. So these are all available on Amazon. That's the autobiography that I wrote with my two brothers and my sister back in 2013. And because we hadn't got any convictions, because we were always told it would never get to court, no one would believe you, da-di-da-di-da-di-da, we felt that would never get justice. So our justice was writing that book. We weren't allowed to name people, just in case, yeah. But no publisher would touch it. So I paid for it to be written, I paid for it to be published, and then I gave it out to people. And that book was almost like my business card. It opened a lot of doors for me. So Theresa May read that book when she launched the inquiry, and she said it gave her a lot of insight as to why the inquiry was needed. Yeah. I'm not saying the inquiry was because of me. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it shows from 4 different people's perspectives, 2 girls and 2 boys, their different positions in the family home, and what we all experience differently and collectively. And we felt that brought us together, with my 2 half sisters as well, but they didn't want to take part in the book, which is fine. But there's 4 of us, and there's all my pictures in there as well from when I was a kid. There's a handful of pictures, and they're the only pictures that I've got. So that tells our story up until I was age 43. And then, as I said, I've got another 12 years of going through the criminal justice system and God knows what else to write about. But the other book is Breaking the Cycle, and that is my health and wellness book for victims and survivors that want to recover from trauma through holistic means, looking at the whole body and understanding how the brain reacts when you are abused, understanding what triggers do to the brain and the hormonal response, and how you can quieten all of that down by looking at what is causing it, getting help for that, and then changing the habits and behaviors so that you can live a peaceful life. So you're not always in this fight, flight, fearful kind of existence. Yeah. And so it looks at mindset. So it looks forwards as well as backwards, as well as in the present. It looks at nutrition. It looks at fitness, movement. It looks at posture and how you hold yourself. So it's a complete, it's a recovery book for aiding recovery if you have got nothing else. But my 8-week course is based on that book now. And yeah, really proud of what I have achieved, to be honest. But I don't often sit and think about it because I'm always looking to do the next thing. I'm always looking to say, right, what else can I do now to change stuff? And that is a byproduct of the upbringing as to I can't settle, I've got to keep going, which is not good. I need balance and I'm working on that.
So glad I jumped on this live. What a powerhouse you are, Chris.
Yeah, I'm just a normal person that's trying to do the best.
You got to tell us about the third book.
Oh, my third book is not, that's so Parenting Without Tears. I haven't got a copy of it, but it's available on Amazon just as a download. So what I did, there was a parenting coach, Chris Thiessen, who said that as a parent you need to provide your child with these foundational things. Yeah, so I took his model and then I said, right, as an abused child, young person, I didn't have this and this, and this is how it's impacted me. So as a mother, a traumatized mother, I now need to do things differently. So it's Parenting Without Tears. So as a mother, I didn't know. Well, I did know, but many people that have been abused don't know what it's like to be normal, whatever normal is, like loving, caring, nurturing, provide the basics for their child, because they may be in the throes of addiction or mental health, for example. So they may not be able to provide their child with the basic foundations that that child needs. And if they can't do that, they're not breaking the cycle. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's just like, right, okay, as a parent, my friend Bev says every person should have parenting classes no matter what they've gone through, because then everyone starts off at the same level, don't they? Because then you know what you need to give your child. Yeah. You know that you can't go around hitting your child because that's abusive. Yeah. But some parents don't understand that. They think they can do that. Yeah. So it's about understanding that if you want to bring a child into this world, as a caregiver, as a parent, you need to provide these steps, these foundations. And if you don't, it doesn't make you a bad parent, but what it does is that you won't be fulfilling the needs of those children.
Yeah.
That's it, basic. But I did it from the point of view of being, because I didn't get that, this is how it impacted me.
What's the names of the other books again?
Through the Eyes of a Child, so that's the autobiography, and the Breaking the Cycle is the health and wellness book. And they're all available on Amazon under my name anyway. Or they can go, sorry.
Chris Tuck, yeah?
Yeah. Amazon, we don't earn any money for the charity if they buy the books from Amazon, but if they buy the books from the charity website, then we obviously get all of the money.
Say that again, just so we know how we can benefit.
If people buy it from Amazon, we don't really get a lot of money for the charity. But if they buy it from the website, the charity website, survivorsofabuse.org.uk, then all of the money goes to the charity. And I don't know whether you know, Curtis, but Bev and I, we've done presentations for Windsor and Maidenhead social care. And we're now doing one for Richmond and Kingston social care. So, you know, you have Social Care Week.
Right.
Bev and I are presenting again this year using our story stories and our professional experiences. Because you're an
So
independent social care person, aren't you? You told us on our podcast.
yes, that I stopped doing that work. I mean, actually, at the moment, I've just started a new job as an
Congratulations.
assistant team manager, and but I was doing independent social work as well, which
Ah, okay.
which is crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
No worries.
where was I? Tell us about your podcast.
Oh, yeah. Breaking the Cycle, 2 Step Forwards. It's on YouTube. Just that, Breaking the Cycle. You can find it. And it's on all podcast platforms for audio.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I just hope I've not offended anybody by being so blunt.
So the audience is about 10 seconds behind.
Okay.
They may or may not let you know. But interestingly, on this platform, the things that we talk about, you don't, if you don't want to be offended, don't come on here. It's not like
Okay.
TikTok is a bit of a crazy crowd. I do it here because people are. But look, I mean, this young lady here, Shania Ray, she's going to be on the show as well.
Hi, Shania.
Care Lever, she's got an interesting story. She's quite popular on TikTok. She's putting her story out there,
Brilliant.
and yeah, I think you'd probably be a breath of fresh air, and it would be probably good to, I'm trying to network people here. She's really.
We're
What
always
else are we looking?
looking for guests on our podcast, Shania, so get in touch.
Come on now, come on now. What network? Let me know, and then I'll point you.
Yeah, no
To
worries.
someone saying you need to go to Baswa. It's not offensive at all. Phenomenal woman. Thank you, Chris. So inspirational. Give us social work students more of a drive to do well and try not to fail. Yes, this is what I'm talking about.
You know what? I do not believe that social care workers go into the profession to fail children. I don't believe that at all. All right. But we are failing children, and collectively we've got to try and change that. Why and how are we failing them, and what can we do different? That's what this is all about.
Perfect. You know what? I want to go on, and I'm trying to be disciplined, but what it means is that there has to be a part 2.
Yeah, okay, no worries. But just think of some. Sorry, my voice is going now. Think of some questions.
You mean for next time?
Yeah, from your students. Yeah, I'll answer anything.
Absolutely. We're going to bring you back on and just, go hard on some of those tricky questions. I think your life story, your lived experience is really, it's important to get people's narratives as opposed to just talking from abstract theory.
Yeah.
That's how.
Yeah.
I spent the first 2 years of uni talking about theory.
Yeah.
But the only thing that meant anything to me and my colleagues was hearing people's life story.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here. I always hear from people that have gone through horrific stuff, way worse than what I'm not minimizing what I've gone through because I understand what it's done to me, but horrific stuff. And there was just not been anyone there to protect them, and just being able to give them a voice, whether it's their own voice or through me sharing with their permission, then that's what this is all about for me.
Yeah. And this is it. Same here. This will be probably episode 149 on the Social Work Race podcast. Get yourselves on to Chris's podcast. That is, let me just get it here. Breaking the Cycle to Step Forwards.
Yeah.
That's where we learn, guys, is by listening to people's stories. Yeah, thank you, Curtis. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Shania. We've networked you to someone who's got a brilliant story and still going. You know what I love as well? I don't just want to hear stories where people have overcome. I want to hear how people are currently doing it.
Yeah.
That's as real as it gets.
Yeah.
So Shania is the one.
Yeah.
Get her on there soon, maybe next week. Thank you, Chris. I'm going to
You're
finish now.
welcome.
You know, you've had a lot going on today. You've done your
I have.
you just finished a
Peer
podcast today or
Yeah, I've
something.
just done the peer-to-peer support group, yeah, and I'm, you know, yeah, working on lots of different things. But that's how I like it. I don't like to not be busy.
Mm, wow.
Yeah,
We can keep talking. I tell you what, thank you for your time.
no
Definitely.
worries. All right,
And guys, this will be on both our podcasts, this audio. Have a good night, everyone. It's bedtime for everybody.
it
We're at that
is.
age where it's gone past 8 p.m. You know. Thank you
Oh,
so much.
I don't know. All right then.
Take care.
Bye. Bye.